Welcome back, where we explore all things medicine, energy, and emotional, spiritual aspects of healing. Today, I want to talk about something that's often misunderstood, avoided, or even feared, which is your emotions. I know from coming from an ethnic background that this is something that we are taught to suppress, to avoid, and not even look at, to be strong. And today I want to offer a different perspective as a healer, as someone who's walked both the clinical and personal path of transformation. I want to offer a different lens that your emotions aren't your enemies. It is the tool to your inner world, to understand your landscape, to get a better understanding of what's happening within you. They're sacred messengers, they're fuel, they're feedback, and when we learn how to work with them, not suppress or bypass or even shame them, we unlock a deeper level of power and health when we learn how to utilize our emotions. Okay, so let's begin with the culture we've all grown up in. In the Western world, productivity, hustle culture, the go, go, go. And I know for a fact in ethnic backgrounds, immigrant families, you are taught to suppress those emotions or avoid them, or not taught how to deal with them at all because they don't know how to deal with theirs. So you turn to different unhealthy coping mechanisms of how to deal with the emotion or let out emotion with anger. And suppressing your emotions, especially anything that isn't a positive emotion, is seen as something that is very taboo, that you shouldn't be experiencing, and there comes the shame of experiencing that emotion. So if you cry, that means you're weak, especially in men for that one. If you get angry, you're irrational, women for that one. If you express fear, you're unstable. If you feel too much joy, you're selfish or naive. And this collective conditioning teaches us to be rational, to be rational, spiritual, or successful. You must stay emotionally detached, stunted, or suppressed. But that's not the truth from like a full healer's perspective. Detachment from emotion isn't maturity, it's trauma. It's you trying to figure out a way to coexist in the world when you were little to feel safe. So you suppress those emotions, and then now carrying that into your adult life. This disconnection from the body's own wisdom system is not the way to go. So in traditional Chinese medicine, each organ is associated with an emotion. And because emotions are seen part of the physiology, you can use them as tools to understand what's actually happening in your body or to heal things that need to be healed in your body. Especially if you feel lost in this whole healing culture right now too, you can use emotions as a compass, a guide. So the liver houses anger, which is assertive energy, and the lungs house grief, which is releasing energy. The spleen houses worry, which is digestive thinking, like how your digestion works. And the heart houses joy, which is connection and presence. And the kidneys house fear, deep instinct, and willpower. So suppressing emotion, that's like blocking an organ from doing its job and functioning at its full capacity. We're suppressing our emotions. We're feeling that chronic tension in the body, especially if you're like super angry, super stressed out. You will feel it in your neck and upper shoulders and like mid to upper back. you're going to feel that tension in your body. You're going to feel chronic fatigue and burnt out. You're going to feel and have chronic conditions like migraines, insomnia, or even IBS, which are heavily related to how your emotions are flowing within your body. Or you'll feel super reactive emotionally and you don't even know why your reaction is that big to whatever happened. Or you'll feel numbed out. Your nervous system is storing everything that you won't feel at a smaller level and a bigger level. So unprocessed emotions aren't just gone out of your body. They're just rerouted into the muscles, into the gut, into the immune system. And eventually we call it dysfunction or dis-ease. But what if it was just blocked energy that's being stored somewhere? And if you released it properly, then it would be gone out of your body and you would have that free energy again. Maybe you saw this in yourself, the years you kept it all together, but your body was falling apart. Maybe you were stuck in an environment where you didn't have an out, but you had to stay there. So you silently took everything that you wanted to speak up for yourself, but didn't feel like you could, or there would be negative repercussions if you spoke for yourself or stood up for yourself. These are all emotions that you're, instead of voicing them out and putting them out there in the world and be ready to deal with whatever happens after that, you're like keeping it inside of you instead. And that level and magnitude of energy that comes from that emotion, if it's not being expressed, if it's not being released, you're putting it somewhere in your body, which is only going to cause havoc within your body and cause dis-ease. A huge thing would definitely be reframing what emotions are. Your emotions are a teacher and not a threat to your livelihood. Anger isn't bad, it's clarity. It's learning, hey, this is, I'm finding this disrespectful from somebody, or it's a boundary that's being crossed that you may not even know that you had that boundary. Or understanding if anger arises is a tool to let you know that you don't like how you're being treated, or you don't like what's happening around you or to you. And anger is coming up to let you know that, hey, this isn't cool, and maybe speak up on it. Grief isn't weakness. It's love that has nowhere to go. It's potential, loved potential that can't go anywhere because that person might not be there anymore to receive that love, like in a physical form, not there anymore, you know? Fear isn't dysfunction. It's wisdom calling you to be cautious or courageous. Fear and anxiety are emotions that should be felt, but shouldn't be emotions that your dominant emotion, you know what I mean? So fear and anxiety have definitely been put as a safety tool within our body, you know, to save ourselves from certain stressors, or like a lion charging at us, you know what I mean? So it has its purpose and its tool, and it's calling you, if you feel fearful in a situation, to like see your surroundings and just see if you need to flee, if you need to play dead, if you need to like move a little more cautiously. And joy isn't naivety, it's medicine. When you feel joyous and your heart feels light as a feather and you feel good, life just runs smoother and you feel better, you know? But feeling joy doesn't mean that you're naive to the world and naive to what's happening around you. You can be in a state of joy and still know the harms of life and like how to be cautious and not be like in full little child innocence of naivety, you know what I mean? So when we allow emotions to move through us and not take over, or not to be denied either, we return to an equilibrium, a balance within our body. Healer's practice, definitely. Something that I use and I've learned to ask myself is, if an emotion arises, what is this emotion pointing to? What is this emotion trying to express? What need is trying to be expressed? Why is this coming up? If it's in relation to somebody else or a situation, what truth is asking to be seen in this situation? And that is where the healing happens. You're not by overriding the emotion or the feeling, but to listening to it deeply to understand why this emotion is arising within me, and not to see the emotion as this evil thing that like makes you act out of character or in reactivity, because you're trying to understand yourself at a deeper level and understand why this emotion is rising, and you'll just start to trust that emotion a lot better and a lot more once you start asking these questions and can maneuver through these emotions and not get sucked into a particular emotion for like days or weeks or months on end. Other side note, TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, doesn't see emotions as the cause for disease or dis-ease. It sees imbalanced emotion as both a sign and a perpetrator of disharmony. So it's not causing the dis-ease, but it's definitely creating the perfect storm of environment for a disease or dis-ease to happen within your body. So if you have excessive anger and you haven't found a way to release the anger in a healthy way, right? Like this points to energy that's being stagnated within your liver. If you have excessive worry, you overthink all the time, and overwork also, spleen qi deficiency, which means that you're just more tired overall all the time. Your finite amount of energy isn't to its optimal point. Like you have less energy to expend throughout the day for you to feel tired. Excessive fear may be rooted in a lot of kidney depletion. So not saying that you're going to have kidney disease or anything like that. It just means that there are certain symptoms that arise when you have excessive fear that lead to what is energetically rooted within the kidney system. So in acupuncture, we use acupuncture, needling, herbs, and lifestyle practices to restore the flow and balance within the body, where there might be too much energy in one area of the body and not enough in another. So like if you're excessively angry all the time, but also excessively worrying all the time, you can see how there would be an imbalance between the two organs and how much disharmony that would cause within your body. Like if you're way too angry, your liver isn't processing and eliminating and doing what it needs to be doing as a liver. And if you don't have enough energy to even be processing and doing that, like you're just going to feel super sluggish and fatigued and all of that. And with other symptoms, obviously. But flow doesn't just necessarily mean needles and herbs. It's permission to feel, to speak, to move, to release. And acupuncture is a tool to help unblock emotions that have been suppressed, emotions that express, and healing happens. Now that we've kind of gone over how and why you should be feeling your emotions and why that's so important in this day and age, let's begin on working with your emotions instead of against them. Like I always say, first thing always is naming and even acknowledging that this is happening. So name the feeling that you're feeling. I feel angry is powerful. Even just acknowledging like, holy shit, this is the emotion that's coming up and that's what I'm feeling, instead of, okay, side note, if you always just feel one emotion, there might actually be other emotions that you're feeling, but they all just get lumped into one because you're only ever allowing yourself to feel one emotion. So if you only ever feel angry about like anything and everything in the world, you might actually be grieving a bit. You might actually be fearful a bit. You might be actually worrying a little bit, but you've only ever conditioned yourself and allowed yourself to express any emotion through that one channel. And so this part would be huge for people like that. So naming the emotion that you're feeling, super powerful. Naming regulates the nervous system. It kind of gives a label to it that you can like grasp onto and understand a little better. And then let it move. Do some movement, some breath work, speak it out loud. Therapy or humming even is a huge one. Emotions are meant to move and not be trapped within the body. Pause before story. Don't spiral. Be with the feeling before attaching meaning to it. So this is for all the people that love to intellectualize their feelings and instead of actually feeling them. So when you're naming it and you're trying to move with it, allow yourself to sit within the discomfort of that emotion instead of kind of like, oh, I'm feeling this way because X, Y, and Z, you know, like before you get to that point and start filling in all the filler words to describe the feeling and why you're feeling that way or how you're feeling that way, what went wrong during the day for you to feel that way. Before you even get to any of that, just allowing yourself to sit with the discomfort of that feeling. And then not last but not least, number 4 thing to do would be like ground. Use your senses. Name 5 things that you can touch. Name 5 things that you can see. Name 5 things that you can smell around you. Go out in nature. Come back to safety and groundedness within your body. And then last but not least is ask the body, what do you need right now to feel safe and connected and grounded? And then whatever comes up, trust that answer. Like that's what you'll need in that moment. Whether it's you need a nap, whether it's you need a hug, whether it's you need to meditate or go for a run or whatever. Like whatever thing that pops up, as long as it's a healthy coping mechanism, then you're in the right direction to find that middle ground. A little somatic exercise here. Place one hand on your chest and the other one on your belly. Take a long belly inhale and ask yourself right now, close your eyes, what am I feeling? Where is it in my body? And can I let it be here for 10 more seconds and just sit with that feeling wherever it is in the body? The people that have ever been told to be strong and being strong in a way of like suppressing or denying your emotions or not feeling your emotions, this one is for you. I've been able to fully be strong till I actually started feeling and understanding my emotions rather than suppressing it. I didn't understand the strength that I had until I was able to move through all the shame, guilt, and like bad emotions. Until you are able to process and fully experience all those emotions to the depth that they need to be felt within your body, you won't actually ever understand how strong you can be. And that's in an emotional, mental, spiritual, physical sense. You will never understand your true strength until you feel your emotions, because emotions are not the enemy. They are tools to your freedom, to your liberty, and they're sacred data within our body that you should be using. And they're not here to destroy your peace, but to help you cultivate that freedom and peace and safety within your body. They're here to create that peace within your body. And you're not meant to be numb. You're not meant to be flawed within this system that tells you to suppress your emotions. You're meant to be whole, and feeling is not a flaw. You're meant to feel. You're human. That's what you're designed to do. It is actually your superpower. And the more you learn to tap into that sensation, the more powerful you feel and the more strength you feel within yourself. because it's your healing compass. And I think I'm going to leave that there. I think I've yapped enough. If this resonated with you, share this with someone who needs permission to feel, and subscribe for more videos on medicine, healing, and the art of coming home to you yourself. So until next time, be gentle, be real, and keep listening to your body's wisdom. Bye for now.